Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Brand podcast. We are joined today by a brand new business here, and I believe she has the gift of the gab. We've been chatting off the camera, and it's been fantastic. You've given me your full story already, but I can't wait to share it with everybody here.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So we've got Cheryl in today, guys, from Buddie Blooms Florist. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Everything all right? Thanks so much for coming down as well.
No problem at all. I'm really glad to be here and share my story to you.
We're super glad to hear your story as well, because we've actually purchased from you without even knowing who you are, and your service is absolutely fantastic, honestly amazing, and I can just see it growing arms and legs, which it sounds like it already has from what we were talking about, but we'll chat about that later on in the podcast. So Cheryl, first thing we like to do is just get everybody to introduce themselves, talk about the wee backstory, how they get into the business, and then we can kind of get going with the business, how it actually is and what it actually is that you do.
Yep, no worries at all. So I'm Cheryl McIntyre, I'm 44 years old, originally from Fergusley Park, and then moved up to Gala Hill, still living in the Paisley area. I've got a fiance, James, 2 children. Wee James is 15 and Lucy is 12. So the backstory, more or less, grew up working class family. Mum worked really hard. She was in the day centre caring for older people. My dad, he's been a community activist in Fergusley Park for the past 47 years, so he's quite strong-willed, really strong-willed, and then he's a taxi driver now. So just more or less, business has always been the forefront. Started off first job in Asda in Linwood, loved it, loved the people. Went into high school, left with very few standard grades, but the ones that I wanted to do. Went into college first off to do travel and tourism because I wanted to be a club rep. That was what my dream was. Went to do travel and tourism. It was absolutely rubbish. It was all about the British Isles. I thought I was getting a week in Magaluf. No chance.
An 18 to 30.
So it was all about British Isles. It was all about countries, and I was like, oh, this definitely isn't for me. So I left there, went to get the Wonga, wanted to work, get my own wage. Started in Asda in the fruit and veg. Met a ton of people who were still friends to this day. We all had our 40s together, we all had our 30s together, been in mega mad holidays together, and they're all still friends to this day. Left Asda, went to do beauty therapy. So I've got HND in beauty therapy as well. Brilliant. So started college in 2002, so that was 22 years ago. I went to do beauty therapy, left that, set up my own wee beauty room within a hairdresser's, met James, had my kids, and never really went back to beauty because it just changed so much. Like, it was all about kind of like your fillers and all about I was more interested in the relaxation side, like your massages and all that. So I went off to have my kids, and then I've just always loved flowers. I've always wanted to be creative and do something like that. So my auntie bought me a 8-week flower course over at Clyde College for my Christmas.
Right, okay.
So I went and I done that.
An actual flower course?
I went and I done that at night. She was like, that is your Christmas present because you've always wanted to do it. Aye. So I went and I done an 8-week course, and the actual tutor on the course, she's like, my friend runs a florist in Paisley. She went, would you be willing to maybe just go in and see what they do and maybe volunteer? I'm a driver as well. She's like, maybe go and do a few deliveries. So that kind of how, because she went, you've actually got a real knack for it, Cheryl, and you actually look as if you enjoy doing it. Yep. So graduated that wee 8-week course, just kind of basics of floristry, like learning your tools of your trade, learning what different arrangements you can do. So left there and went to Buddie Blooms Florist in Paisley, and worked in there for just over a year with the team in there, and then 2020 hit and COVID kind of ruined everything. Yeah, so it was at that kind of stage where, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? Have we actually got the guts to set up our own business? At that point, financially, James was a taxi driver, so he'd been doing that for the past 15 years, and it was getting to the stage he was getting quite scunnered with that. Obviously with COVID as well. Tough business, that, isn't it? Really, really tough. He worked in the slaughterhouse for years, and he worked in the tannery as well, making leather, so he's always had a quite physical job. And he went to the taxis and he was like, no, Cheryl, it's getting to the point where the people coming in the taxi are just no good at all either. And he was kind of wary of them. So at that point, I says to him, we'd actually get £100 note if that is still real, or £250 notes. And I says, right, how do you feel about building me a hut? And he's like, a hut? Because at that point, COVID was everybody was going on furlough and everything else. And I went, no, I've had enough of the florist.
Everybody had the free time in their hands.
Yeah. Yep. So the florist, don't get me wrong, it was a great place to work in, but it was just very stressful as well. Very, very stressful, as you can imagine. An all-female environment, a lot of kind of backstabbing, bitchiness and everything else. So I was like, nah, it's no for me. I'm at this 40 years old. I'm kind of left the school playground behind. So it was kind of like, let's just see if we can do it. So £100 note, and we bought one of these wee £100 cater huts. So we started out the back door,
which would probably be now like £500-600 because of the way the world's working.
Yeah, so that was it. It was a wee cater hut out the back door. So visited the flower market, which it was a good day and a bad day. I'm just going to be really honest with you. I went into a lot of flower wholesalers, and they told me no, due to my old boss phoning round them all and telling them not to sell flowers to me.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to be too negative. I don't know if that's being negative, but he had phoned round, do not sell to Cheryl McIntyre, do not sell to Buddie Blooms, and that was absolutely fine. So I did feel a bit hurt by that, and a bit upset and kind of like just throw in the towel. So I went to the last one, and I just went in and I just says to the guys, look, I'm just looking to set up my own business. I'm looking to buy flowers. He's like, are you paying me cash, Cheryl? I went, yeah. He went, I no bother. I'll sell you flowers.
Say, how anybody in this day and age would reject business just because somebody's phoned around and said, don't sell them flowers? I'd be like, sorry, are you paying for all my bills?
Yeah. It was quite hurtful, but I think it just gave me the bit in between my teeth to achieve. Yep. Do you know that,
well, I was going to say, obviously seeing you as a threat.
Well, that's your dad said that. Obviously your dad said that. It was quite hurtful, and then I says to James, no, I'm determined to do it. So they sold us our first batch of flowers, and Buddie Blooms was born out that wee tiny cater hut. So we worked out the back door for 6 months, and then I says to James, that's kind of getting a bit, that's when everyone was kind of starting to open up. But I think during COVID as well, people couldn't see family members, so they were sending flowers, they were sending hugs, we were doing doorstep deliveries, so it was like tap the door, run away, do you know what I mean? Like, there's your flowers. I've only
did one gig, and it was a doorstep gig. But even at that, you had to get into the person's house to plug the stuff in. I was like... And we were obviously all wearing gloves, masks, everything else. So it was one of those things, and we heavily relied on, obviously, even at the flower market, it was one person in at a time. Do you know what I mean? Or sometimes we weren't even allowed in. It was like your flowers are left at the front door, which is absolutely fine. So just collect them for there. So by the time it came around, that was from the January. In the July, I says to James, will you build me a cater hut out the back door? 8x6, perfect. So we worked in there day and night, just getting the flowers done. And obviously social media played a big part in it as well, because at that point we didn't have a website, so it was all backwards and forwards messaging. What do you want? What's your budget? What's the delivery address? What's the card message? So it was quite a lot of like setting up your own business. It's not just playing with flowers all day. Do you know what I mean? It was blood, sweat and tears, and that was another thing when I left the florist as well. You'll not get any customers, nobody will buy your flowers. So it was quite hurtful at that point as well. So we did start the business with 0 customers. So I think it was all about just trying to go into social media. What are we doing on Facebook, on Instagram, just showing people behind the scenes and what we can make, and it just completely rocketed for there. We had our first successful Mother's Day working out that wee tiny hut, and it was just kind of stemmed for there. And I would say about 80% of our business is all returning customers. So starting my story again, so we're out the cater hut out the back door, and James is like, Cheryl, this isn't big enough. It's not even big enough for you. He could already see that you've outgrown.
He's like, it's no. And at that point, we're kind of dabbling into funeral flowers and wedding flowers as well, because obviously the people that are buying the bouquets, they do experience deaths in families. They do experience weddings. So it was kind of like, can you make, and there just wasn't room enough. So we left there and we headed to Johnston. So we get our first wee lock-up unit behind the Four Corners boxing gym in Johnston.
I think I know where you are.
We kept in McDowell Street. So we were in there for about a year, and again we'd outgrown it again. So now we're in...
It's unreal. Unreal.
So now we're in Lake Artside Street, and that's quite a big... It's maybe like 500 square feet, and I've got like obviously my table, James's table, because he's very much involved in the business
much a part
as well.
of the business as well.
So the Buddie Blooms, it provides business for both of us, 2 full-time jobs. So he's obviously his main role as the driver, but James also takes an insight into doing the funeral flowers and that as well. Don't get me wrong, he'll not answer a message, he'll not put on a social media post. He's just an old dinosaur. He's not got a clue.
He's sticking to what he's best
and he's
at.
like, if I answer your messages, you'll know my business. Do you know what I mean? Which is really quite. He's like, no, Cheryl. And then obviously when we went to Lake Artside Street, we had to get a website. We had to simplify it, because backwards and forwards with messages, it was like between, can I get flowers? Yeah, what kind of flowers? Can I get blue flowers? And it was just taking up for my time. Do you know what I mean?
It's so time consuming.
Yeah, it really is. And obviously it's maybe hard for people to understand that you've still got a house to run, you've still got school uniforms to iron, you've still got dinners to make, do you know what I mean? And you've still got to be there for the kids as well, do you know what I mean? So the whole reason we did set up Buddie Blooms was to spend more time with the kids, because I'm up at the market maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, get all the flowers, and I get a wee delivery. We work and produce the bouquets from about 8:30 till about 10:30, so we're really only working maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, because it's not a shop. People are like, so where's your shop? And I'm like, no, it's a unit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Buddie Blooms was set up to get more time with family. It wasn't to sit in a shop till 5 o'clock at night. And I think
100%.
I think in this day and age, with COVID and that as well, people are only going to shops. Do you know what I mean? Which is a shame. And with Buddie Blooms, I was like, no, what we'll do is we'll do deliveries and we'll do a collection time. So we get people to come in for like 9:30 to 10:30, get their collection sorted, meet them as well. I think it's really nice for them to come in and have a chat. And obviously, if people are looking for a funeral consultation, we do them anytime. Our wedding consultations as well, we do them anytime, because people have got busy lives. Do you know what I mean? And it's just to try and work around a bit. But I'll still get people messaging going, so where is your shop? And I'm like, it's hard for them to kind of like understand that it's all online and collections only, which maybe been a bad business decision. Maybe we should be sick, but I'm just like, no, life's too short.
I don't think so. I think you're doing it right. I think you've touched the whole. We're in a pure modern world now. Yeah. Like, I only really go to the shops if I'm getting my food shop. Yeah. Or I'll go to shops if I'm like, I need to pick up something quite last minute, and I know that if I order it, it'll not come. Yeah. Like but everybody, I would hope nowadays, would look online first for what they're doing. I think you're taking your business into the modern world for what you're doing. Yeah. Rather than people coming in, and as you say, then you're paying for a place where you're sitting there from 8 to 5 every day, and you're like, you could be like, I could be using my time better elsewhere, spending time with my kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're actually having a bit of life balance with it as well. We did actually look at shops within the Paisley High Street and within the Paisley West End, and it was... How extortionate are they? Well, we looked at one in the West End in Broomloan Street, and it was £700 a month, and I'm like, that is just astronomical. There's one on just now, and it's £1,000 a month, and it's in Broomloan Street, or the old wherever it is, but I'm just like, by the time you pay that, and obviously a factors fee and all that as well, because you're at the bottom of a tenement building, and I'm just like, no, it's just no. I could put the profits into a holiday for us, or I could put them back into a new business idea, like I do, or I could put them into, I don't know, I'm not saying cheaper bouquets, but different bouquets, do you know what I mean? I would do a lot of contract flowers as well. I've got a lot of schools that I go into where we'll do their foyer flowers for the sake of putting my business card down. West Primary, that's who my 2 children, they go to that school, and they've been supporters from day one. So we do their foyer arrangement, and we put a business card down, but teachers are always needing flowers. Honestly, so from us as a business point of view, it's kind of works both ways. Yeah. Sounds like you've got your head screwed on so right with whatever these are doing, and like where you are targeting the people you're targeting. Yeah. Because I imagine with a business like yours, word of mouth is so big. Yeah. It definitely is. And even somebody just liking a post or sharing a post or saying no, or even like a Google review, do you know what I mean? We're not massive. I didn't realise how big they were as well. Yeah, we're not one of the 3 best rated just yet, but I'm working on it. 100%. Do you know what I mean? I'm working on it, and the ones that are the best rated in Paisley have been in the market for the past 10-15 years, do you know what I mean? So it's something. You're still kind of relatively new. Yeah. In terms of things, you know what I mean? You're relatively new. 4th birthday on the 1st of March, so that's 4 years we've been going.
from a hut in the back door to a unit to a bigger unit. So it's just evolving all the time. Don't get me wrong, I probably would like to go down the route and maybe getting a shop and a showroom in both times, but then you've got to kind of work it out with like profits and prices, and just at the moment it's just not financially stable for us. If this business is supporting our family, a shop just isn't on the horizon.
That's it.
Which sounds quite sad, do you know what I mean? Because the high street is dying on its ass.
We talked about this in a previous podcast as well, and I was saying that how it's so run down now.
Yeah, but they'll give you nothing.
Nah, it doesn't seem like there's any motivation to get new businesses in. You know what I mean? And the ones that are in there for a short period of time.
Yep.
Like it's a quick turnover for them. And I'm like, realistically, the rates and stuff that people are charging, I'm just like, how you might encourage people in.
It's astronomical.
I've always said taking McDonald's out of that high street killed it.
I did. Yep.
As much as it wasn't, you know what I mean, I know there was trouble and stuff that came with it.
Yeah.
I felt like it totally killed the Paisley High Street.
Yeah. I worked in the body shop as well.
Did you?
And when that went, I was actually up in Braehead. That was another in between jobs. I was the assistant manager up in the one in Braehead, and it was just all these shops in Paisley. It's tragic.
I know.
Absolutely tragic. And I do feel sorry for the council, because I feel like they don't kind of know which direction to go in. Do you know what I mean? But these buildings are just going to rat and ruin.
They are. They're going to rot. They're going to rot as well. I'm like, you've got a fabulous, massive centre there.
Yeah.
That could do with a total redone.
Yeah.
It could do with that, and you know what I mean. It doesn't just need a lick of paint. Like, it needs.
I went in there a few Sundays ago, and it's even the wee in shops. When I was away, my granny used to take us. Do you know what I mean? It would be like the wee cafe first, like Cafe Sue. It's all away and all that as well. It'd be like the cafe, and then she'd take us in and buy like her knickers and things like that. And that would be first Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Spending it in Paisley, go to the Abbey and eat a sausage roll, and I'm just like, it's just complete Woolworths, pick mix and all that as well. It's just terrible.
I mean, is JD still there? I think.
Yeah, it's went into the Piazza.
And I'm like, that's that for me. I'm like, that's mental. How that's still there?
Yeah, how that's still there as well. It's just a shame, and as you say, there's just no incentives for new businesses, because I did look at the high street as well, and I'm like, unless you've got 20 grand, do you know what I mean?
So I'm saying, it's out of touch. Places like this is great. I'm in the startup street in here, and this is built for new businesses. You know what I mean? There's multiple units here.
Yep. I'm
just like, you've got so much potential in Paisley for new startup businesses. They might not be successful or not, but I'm like, you're just killing them straight away by the way it is. Yeah, give them a chance. Like, and
then if you are on the high street, it's going to bring people into the town as well, and I think that's really important for Paisley. Do you know what I mean? Because everywhere you look, it's either a Bookies or it's a Subway. It's just an absolute,
or a cafe, pub. I'm like, there's only so many.
There's not really any, and I says obviously things like florists, even like shoe shops and things like that as well. There's nothing. There's nothing like that, which is a shame. But hopefully, maybe in time it might change, because I think a lot of people are working behind it. Like with Paul in from Mill Magazine. I don't know if you know Paul.
Paul was our very first guest on the podcast.
Was he? Yeah. Well, he came to Buddie Blooms. He came in and he did a big crisp bread on us, which is absolutely fantastic.
He's a great advocate for Paisley.
Yeah, but he'd visited all the businesses in Johnston. He'd been to like a Leo, the wee cafe in Johnston. He'd been to like Banging Pizza, and I went, that's absolutely great, Paul. It's a great initiative that he's doing to kind of give it a good kind of read up. But I says we definitely need. I would say Johnston's probably busier than what Paisley.
We would totally agree. Yeah. I can see Rebecca nodding in the corner there. I totally agree.
Which is a shame. It's a complete shame. Do you know what I mean? Because the people that I feel most sorry for is the old biddies, because they do come into Paisley. Do you know what I mean? And it's just no.
100%, 100%, and there's nothing for them to do now. There's nowhere to go.
There's nothing, and I think they're working so hard with Paisley First and all that as well, but it's just not happening.
I know. I feel like their hands are tied with certain things.
Yeah.
See when they put on their events and stuff like that, fantastic.
Yeah, like the food and wine.
Absolutely amazing. The food and wine festival. You've got the Halloween festival.
All
things
that
like
as
that.
well.
Just, there's so much scope, and then it's a shame where a business like yours, which is obviously it's expanding. Yeah. As well as being priced out of. Being part of the local community. That's actually a
good way to look at it. It has been priced out.
Do you know what I mean? To be part of that local community and to provide a service for people that, do you know what I mean? Because it's not just that you just arrange flowers for birthdays and things like that. As you say, you do obviously the weddings, you do the funerals and things like that. I mean, your displays are fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I got one. I honestly, my hand on heart say this when I think I messaged you so last minute.
I'll give you that tenner later.
sponsorship.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, I think I messaged you guys very, very last minute because I'm a guy. Of course, I'm going to do that. And you were so quick to answer, and I got my display that I needed for my mum's birthday and things like that. It was very good.
And that's how.
And I loved it because it was just like a generic bunch of flowers as well. It was the envelope one I got.
Oh, lovely.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Is that like, obviously, I guess it's not just envelope ones that you do? Or?
No, all different. So it's quite a big spectrum. And I think what sets us apart, I'm not saying from different florists as well, is we buy fresh every day. So people ask us, oh, but have you got this or have you got that? I don't have any dead stock at all. So what I do is I'll get all the orders off the website the night before, see what I need to order, maybe order a wee couple of extra things in case something comes in that morning. So every day is different flowers because I'm quite a nosy person, so I like to go to the flower market.
Popular ones,
yeah, really popular ones. Like obviously Pinkerbell arrangement, everybody loves pink flowers and they use that for every kind of arrangement. But I felt as if with Buddie Blooms I wanted to cater for everybody's budget, so we do like the wee Caledonia arrangement. It's in an envelope, so it's got 3 thistles in it, a red rose and a white bloom and a wee bit of tartan ribbon. So we get that from orders from Australia, we got orders from Florida. I delivered to Speightstown on Saturday, and it's a girl that's over at the cheerleading championships. She's like, can you deliver a bouquet to my mum? I went, are you on holiday in Florida? She went, no, I'm here for like cheerleading. And I went all the way from Florida to Buddie Blooms to Speightstown, and when I delivered them, our mum was like over the moon, and she's like, that's my daughter Angela, she's in Florida. And then I get like the full kind of background.
You get the spiel, you get you build that relationship with the person, which is
brilliant. And she says, that's my favourite flowers, whites and greens, do you know what I mean? And she was absolutely over the moon with them. So it's just kind of giving them that kind of personal touch, and I love a challenge. So I've got a girl that lives in Castle Street, and she's like, my mum's favourite flower is Bird of Paradise, and I'm like, right, okay. So obviously Bird of Paradise, yeah. So it's like Bird of Paradise, it actually grows wild in Tenerife. So if you've ever been to Tenerife and you see the weeds, that's where Bird of Paradise grows. Doesn't grow wild in Glasgow because the price of them is like extortionate. Do you know what I mean? And with the flower market as well, people think like, oh, I can just get in and buy like 1 rainbow rose. No, I need to buy 20. And you're close to the £100 mark when you're buying that many rainbow roses. Do you know what I mean? So definitely. I can't just sell 1 rainbow rose. It's got to be a minimum order. So going back to Bird of Paradise, so they come in 6s. So she's like, that's my mum's favourite flower. So as I say, up to the flower market, getting things ordered on order, or if there's maybe like a big funeral in, then we've got to get them kind of all ordered. But I did have a bride one Christmas, and they'd sent me a picture for the plane. It was Colombian roses, because all the flowers are all sourced from different places. So we got a lot of flowers from Colombia. We also got a lot of flowers from Ecuador, Holland. So it's just really wow. And obviously at this kind of season, we're getting Scottish flowers as well, which is really good. I'd done a wildflower casket spray the other day, and the girl went, my dad loved his garden and I really want something that's going to represent that. So if we can have a lot of kind of wild Scottish flowers, so we'd kind of source the flowers, and they get a lot of different flowers from different parts of all over Scotland. Scottish peonies, that's another one. They're coming into season quite soon as well. Some flowers, it's a short season, some are a wee bit round all year round. So we obviously do like the wee envelope flowers, and then going up to their price for like £14.50 to £15, and then going up to like a kind of standard bouquets are kind of £35, and then we go up to superior, so they start at £60 and anything up to £200, £300, which is quite, but they have got to be top notch and wow. And then I do a lot of sponsors with like kind of dance schools and that as well. So I've got a girl, she travels all the way from Maryhill. She has been for the past 4 years, so she's returning.
You're really kind of like touching out of these different places though. It's not just like you're just like, oh, Paisley only type thing, Johnston only type thing. The sky's
the limit. Do you know what I mean? The sky is definitely the limit, and people go, oh, but you're playing with flowers all day. There's just so much more to it.
There's more to that.
Do you know what I mean? And
there's a whole sentimental value behind it as well, and there's a message behind each flower. Because each flower's, you might have a similar display as certain, but every single flower and bouquet, whatever it is, has a different message, and it's going to a different person. I
always said every design is one of a kind. So do you know what I mean? When I never make, because people go, I want that one, I want that. I say, I never make two the same. And that was quite hard for people as well to kind of like, they're like, but I wanted that one, but you made that one better. Do you know what I mean? Which is, and I'm like, but that one's similar to that one. It's got the exact same flowers in it. And they're like, but that wasn't what I was expecting. That is like absolutely out of this world, do you know what I mean? So it was quite hard for people, and I'm like, no, it's florist choice, and that all came through COVID as well, because they were quite limited during COVID. It was like, well, what flowers are we going to get in? We don't know. Do you know what I mean? So it was you were buying like blind. I'm not saying you were buying blind boxes, but you were just it was like a pick and mix.
We mystery box.
Yeah, and it was quite exciting when the flowers were delivered, because it's like, right, so what have we got in the box today? Do you know what I mean? And it was like, this is what you're giving the customers. So it's kind of adapting their thinking to, it's not a generic. Who wants the same flowers every week?
Aye.
You just, and then like, I had a lady who had went to the same florist, and she's like, I've been buying this bouquet for like 2012. She went, and it's the same. And I'm like, there's the flower market's filled with like thousands and thousands of blooms. Like, I could send you some pictures just now, and there's so much to pick for. And I'm like, I went in the sweetie shop when I got, do you know what I mean? I'm like, I want.
You sound just as passionate for flowers as I do for an actual pick and mix.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the cables are in. I'm like, we're good to go.
Definitely, and it's quite sad, do you know what I mean? But they say if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your
100%.
life. And just having and I love it, and every day is different, do you know what I mean? Like tomorrow I've got a wee regular customer, she lives just up at the Braes, and it's her birthday tomorrow, so I know that her 3 daughters all want bouquets, and they've already got some of their orders in, and they want every single bouquet's got to be different, do you know what I mean? Because she'll put one in their kitchen, she'll put one in their living room, and she'll put one somewhere else. So it's just kind of like adapting,
and that has such a nice message behind it as well, though.
Yeah.
That it's not just the same one that they've all went for, like, oh, it's our favourite type or whatever.
Yep.
It may have a flower that's maybe our favourite thing, but there's a different message to each of them.
Yep. And we'll go at Christmas, and she'll give me like boxes of sweeties for the Wains, do you know what I mean? So it's so personal.
Nice. You've actually built up a relationship with it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it does.
That's class, honestly.
It does.
But I feel like that brings, it does, like, there's a sentimentalness to these sort of things.
It's not just customers, do you know what I mean? They come in to us, obviously their pals have told us about us, or their work colleagues. We do a lot of work for Ward 24 up in RAH as well. They're big supporters of Buddie Blooms. Every week without fail there's 3 or 4 orders coming through Ward 24, and it's just like, even when I go into delivery, they'll go, Cheryl. Do you know what I mean? Because they know, obviously,
that's
they
so
know
good,
you.
Though, that they know you.
Yeah.
Like, as much as they know Buddie Blooms, but they know Cheryl.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think that's what we've tried to say to people when it comes to their business and things like
brand.
That. People, well, that's the reason why we do it behind the brand. I'm pointing as if behind the brand's on the telly there, but it's not. But behind the brand was designed to basically bring in business owners to introduce them to people.
Yeah.
Whether they know you or whether they don't know you, that's the biggest thing. You know what I mean? We want to get people that don't. I've never met Cheryl. You might have heard of Buddie Blooms, but I've never met Cheryl. So that's the whole point of going behind the brand.
Maybe just a few.
It's like that, but the people buy from people.
Yeah.
That is the biggest message we've always tried to indicate here, is that people will buy from people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the customers that I've got as well, they champion for us. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I won't let my friends buy from anybody else. I'm like, right, okay, do you know what I mean? But they really do champions, and a wee like and a wee share, and it goes a long way.
Massive.
Do you know what I mean? Adding a bouquet to your stories. I mean, we were at a wedding last week, and we'd only met the bride through Instagram and Facebook, and we went to the full thing. Do you know what I mean? Jen and William, and it was just fantastic. Like, I was like that to her, have you not got any family that can maybe take like me and James's place? We didn't know a soul, and she's like, no, I want you and James at my wedding. So we did her full wedding flowers, and we were there for the full day over at the Redhurst Hotel, and it was an absolutely brilliant day.
By
the end of the night, James is in the middle of the circle with all the Geordies and the saxophone player, and I'm
home again, home.
Yeah, and we stayed overnight, and even like the next morning, Jen and William, and I'm like, and she's like, no, she went, I wanted you to be there, Cheryl, you had your place at that table. And that was quite, I wouldn't say it was a kind of moment of reflection, but it was like,
back a wee touch.
I've only done your flower. It was, I wouldn't say it was emotional, but it was just like one of those moments where this is real. Do you know what I mean? And people are believing in us, because when you start up a small business and you've been knocked down that much, do you know what I mean? It's like, nobody's going to buy for you. We're not selling you flowers. It was like all this negative, and it was just like, no, I'm determined. I'm going to do this. And I think, like with my upbringing and everything else, nothing's ever stopped me in life. Do you know what I mean? And I try and teach that. Obviously, James, he starts his exams next week. Like he's Nat 5s, and I'm just like, and I always remember years ago as well, this is a funny story, and obviously I'm rapping, but I was in Ferguson Primary, and I've told Tony Fitzpatrick this story as well. I've obviously Tony Fitzpatrick, St Munn fame,
well,
everything
you've
else.
done some of the legacy comps and things.
Well, we're heavily involved with Legacy Comps, which is a fabulous organisation helping local sports charities and general good causes. So Tony Fitzpatrick came into Ferguson Primary when I was in primary 6 or primary 7, Mrs. Copeland's class, and I've told him this story. So he came in and it was like, he was coming in and talking all about his job and what he does with St Munn, and he came in, he's his wee tash, you know. So he comes in and he sits down and he told me something, and he just says, obviously it doesn't matter where you come from, what your family background is, you can be anything you want to be in this life. And that's always kind of stuck with me. And when I met Tony for the first time with Legacy Corps and I told him that, and he get dead emotional, and it was as if I don't know if he was crying, but it was like it took him back. Yep. And it was one of those moments in life where you kind of go, but you can be, do you know what I mean? You can be stuck in a 9-to-5 job if that's what you want to do, if that's what you've got to do to provide for your family. Do you know what I mean? But I just wanted something different for our family. So at the moment, we're the business. We're obviously looking to expand. We've opened I Do last year as well. So what I Do includes is it's all your artificial wedding, big massive hoops, table centerpieces, aisle decorations, welcome mirrors. So that actually came about. It was the bride that we were at her wedding last week, and she's like, Cheryl, this lady's charging me X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, oh my God, James, there's a bit of scope there for us. And it was like a pure light bulb moment, and I was like,
that's so good though, isn't it? Like, to get that wee bit of information really.
Yeah,
that obviously shows you the trust that she had.
Yep, so it's kind of going for separating the fresh flowers to the artificial flowers. So it's doing really well. I Do, we're kind of booked up 2025, 2026, right up to 2027.
How amazing is that?
So at the moment, I've got a big showroom down in Covalt in Paisley, near Sweet Punk's Grant, if you've heard of Grant as well.
Grant was one of the guests as well.
One of our good friends. He's so focused and driven. His business is booming, and he's such a lovely guy as well.
He is. He's really nice. We had such a great conversation, and again, it's Grant's another person that we bought from before, and is his business and his execution is fantastic. Yeah,
he's got a great work ethic. Him and his wee mum.
Oh, he's brilliant. His wee team, his family, and that's so good.
Yep, and that's it. That's the whole kind of family business. Do you know what I mean? And this business, with Buddie Blooms and I Do, we just want it to go from strength to strength, because obviously in time with the kids as well, we would love them to get involved. Yep. Do you know what I mean? And it's not so much building a brand, building a business, but it's building a future.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want Buddie Blooms to ever end. Obviously, I'm going to get old and wrinkly and everything else, but I love it.
Ages away.
Do you know what I mean? It's 20 years away when I'm retired.
Oh, no, it's no.
30 years away when I'm retired. I mean, the goal is, do you know what I mean, to retire in a wee caravan in Benidorm. Do you know what I mean? I've always said that. If I've been away and I want to go and I want to live and I want to retire, do you know what I mean? Or the way Big James is talking, it's a 6-bedroom villa, do you know what I mean? In Mihas or something. But,
see, that's more my ideal.
But humble and happy, do you know what I mean? And just keep grinding every day and just don't give up.
You love what you do.
I love it. If you love, as I said before, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Do you know what I mean? And it's just having that passion and driven and try to make things easier. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd come from a working class background. We had nothing when we were raised. Do you know what I mean? Mum and Dad worked so hard. Dad's still working to this day as a community activist in Ferguson Park, and he'll never stop. Do you know what I mean? He's had a lot of, I wouldn't say troubles or anything else, but he's got a good heart and he just wants to do the best for people. And he's one of the ones as well. It doesn't matter where you come from. Do you know what I mean? You can be anything that you want to be in 100%. Life. And that's the kind of
great advocate
mantra that I've kind of stuck to, and then just keep going for it.
It's that motivation, isn't it?
It is.
As well.
Yep, it's having that, but it's proving a lot of people wrong as well. Obviously at the start, nobody will buy your flowers. Well, people do buy them.
Certain thing you say there, isn't it? When you turn whatever that is, you use that to create your motivation.
Aye, yeah.
Like, I can't mind exactly what the saying is as such, but you're turning that negative into a positive.
Aye. Definitely.
Because if I'm looking at that, and I know that obviously when it's you'll be like, that's quite hard on me to experience that.
It was
like,
quite upset.
And you would be upset, 100%. But looking at the outside in, and as I say, I know I've said it, and you've obviously James at Business Gateway said it as well. But it's like, I would see that as in, they're scared that I'm going to be their competition. They obviously see something in me that maybe I don't see myself yet.
Yeah. But
obviously now you're starting to see it.
Yep. Oh, I know I'm starting to see it. I think just quite business driven.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? But then I don't want to get overwhelmed with it. So
100%.
as I obviously say to you before, at Buddie Blooms we tend to shut the book when it's full because there's only so many orders you can do. I mean, at Mother's Day we had 172 orders, and that was over 3 days, and that was even for James. He does all the deliveries himself. The wee man, he'll jump out and give him a hand, or I'll go and give him a hand. But then people go, how do you know do another 100 orders? I went, because my hands are killing me. Do you know what I mean?
Say, I think people forget that it is just you two that are doing it. It's not a big production team. It's as if you purchase them all in and you just then distribute them. Like you're actually physically making
and what I
these.
always say as well, we're no greedy. Do you know what I mean? The money, if we wanted to, do you know what I mean? But I think your health and everything else needs to come first, because if you want a longevity, whatever that word is, in this business, you've got to pace yourself. Do you know what I mean? Even at Christmas, we shut the book 2 weeks before it, and folk go, but why can't you make me a bookie? And
you don't want to burn yourself out.
Exactly.
Simple as that, innit? People don't realise what they don't know.
Still got 2 weeks to Tenerife to go, so that's it. Do you know what I mean? But no,
you need a break.
We obviously that's the only time we do close. We close on Christmas Eve for 3 weeks because there's no fresh flowers into the country, and what is in the country is quite limited, and what I wouldn't use. And do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, there still is flowers available, but for me, it's one of those things where
it just doesn't make sense.
It's a rest and relaxation, and we stop maybe Christmas Eve, and we're off to about the middle of January, and that's enough. Do you know what I mean?
Gives you guys time to downtime, recharge the batteries.
Definitely.
Obviously, look at the business and go, right, obviously, that's what we did this year. How are we going to change it up?
Yeah.
So gives you that downtime to get the good ideas going.
Yeah.
Because you still need to have got good ideas.
It's brainstorming, and even the kids getting involved as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it sounds a bit sad, but every Wednesday we have a family meeting at the table, and we've done that.
I think that's phenomenal.
We've done that for they've been Wayne's, so I don't know if I should really be saying this in camera, but if anybody's got any worries, obviously with James's exams, he's like, this is my exam timetable, so we all sit and the wooden spoon gets passed, so whoever's got the wooden spoon can talk.
Listen, I know it sounds funny, right, when you talk about it, but I generally think that's a fantastic idea.
We've done it for they've been Wayne's.
I just don't think people don't talk to their Waynes as much as and don't find out as much. I think that's I mean, come on.
Yeah, so that was one of the things where obviously when we were setting up Buddie Blooms, we've got to get them involved, because it's one of those things where
it's going to affect their life.
This is going to be our full-time business. Do you know what I mean? So if anybody's got any worries and they were like, no, Mum and Dad, just go for it.
Sounds good. You've got them on board.
Yeah. Just go for it. Well, obviously they're getting St Mirren taps, and they're getting to go to WWE wrestling, and they're getting a holiday.
Are you looking to adopt like a 28-year-old man?
The tickets go on sale Friday, for SmackDown.
I know. There's a double ticket SmackDown Classic.
Well, they're going, so they're going the Friday and the Saturday. So
brilliant.
It is, do you know what I mean? Running our own business, and we'll never make millions at it, but if we can make it comfortably enough to sustain 2 full-time wages and give the Waynes a treat now and again, because I think children as well have got to understand the value of money. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. Totally. And I says to him, if you want to go to this wrestling, no, you're going to have to start doing the dishes, or you're going to have to start coming in and helping your dad with the weddings, or even helping them set up the showroom. And I think it's giving them responsibility as well. Like Lucy, she loves it. She volunteers me for everything. Mum, can you come into the school? Mum, can you do you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where, and then they're having a dress your own way tomorrow for prizes for the tombola. Mum, we need 2 vouchers. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones where ask Lucy's mum, she did the big bun supper. Mum, can you do like table arrangements? And they raffled them all off at the end for the school funds, which was brilliant. And obviously we visited St Peter's. We were up there, which was absolutely brilliant, and it was one of those things, what is your job? And all the kids got involved, and they were
that's right, that's the day I came to pick up the flowers. They were absolutely
brilliant, do you know what I mean? And they get really involved, lots of good questions. So I think it's just kind of bringing it back, and obviously we're having the family meeting as well with the kids. If they've got any worries or stresses, then they can vent it out there and see.
I think more people should be doing that. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's so good. No,
it's definitely. I think it's very much
because you're giving them their place as well. You're not just being like, no, you've got to do that.
Yeah. And it's understanding the value of obviously we're working hard as well. Do you know what I mean? Because James, he wants to be an electrician. I says that's absolutely fine. Yep. So he'll do, Lucy goes into high school this year, so he'll do his Nat 5s this year, and then he's going back to kind of finish 5th and 6th year. He'll look after his wee sister. He's not very happy about that, but obviously Lucy as well, she suffers from dyslexia, which we just found out kind of after COVID she was diagnosed with that, but it's never stopped her. I says it never will kind of stop you, so that was quite a kind of hard thing to take on as well. Obviously we're going to high school and the transition, but with James being in 5th and 6th year, he'll be able to kind of give her a wee hand with that. Yep, hand and guidance. Lucy's just full of candy floss and fairy tales, whereas James is right into his numbers and everything else. But I says Lucy's more like me, like she loves like creative, she loves like getting her nails done, getting her hair done. She goes to TikTok dancing on Monday night, so she goes up to Johnston as well, Johnston Town Hall. So her dance teacher Claire, they put on like a Monday night kind of show with the TikTok dances. So Lucy's more kind of creative, probably. I would say Lucy's going to be more involved in the business than James is.
Aye.
Definitely. Yep.
Hey, listen, you never know, you might need a sparky.
That's it. But I says to them as well, there's obviously no pressure. Do you know what I mean? I'll be doing this for the next 20 years.
I think you'll be inspiring them to be able to do what they want to do.
Yep.
Considering the career path that you've went, you've not just went like, I've just jumped straight into flowers.
No.
From like, leave school, learned all that sort of stuff, went doing the whole botany, all that kind of stuff, right? Yep. But I'm like, you've figured out what it is. You found your passion for it.
Yeah.
You're going to inspire them to then work on their wee passions and stuff growing up. You know what I mean? If James is obviously wanting to be an electrician, you're like, well, you can be whatever you want to be.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, look where I started to where I've gone. It might take you a bit of time, but don't always worry.
Midlife crisis, turning 40, going to college to become a florist.
I think me and Paul said it. Paul, this is the conversation. Paul said it. You're never too old.
No.
To start your dream.
No.
Never too old.
Definitely no. No.
Cheryl, it's been absolutely amazing speaking to you.
It's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
Amazing, honestly. Yeah. Just before we finish up, how would the people get in touch with you? What's your socials? Like, how would we know who you are?
Well, obviously, Instagram, Buddie Blooms Florist, Facebook, Buddie Blooms, obviously, Facebook, Buddie Blooms Flowers by Cheryl. We're also on TikTok as well, Buddie Blooms Florist. I'm a wee bit newer to TikTok.
You'll get the hang of it, don't worry.
Obviously like voiceovers and all that, I'm still kind of trying to get the hang of that as well. Obviously website www.buddiebloomsflorist.co.uk, and everything's on there. Our story's on there as well, which is quite important. Just at the bottom of the website, just telling you how we started and just how we mean to go on.
It just sounds so personal though, like you're not just a business at the end of the day, and it's just like that's just what you do.
Aye.
Like people are not just investing in Buddie Blooms, investing in Cheryl, and Cheryl's family, and being a part of the family. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Yep. It was so nice, and thank you so much for giving your time up to come.
No, I've really enjoyed it myself. Definitely, really enjoyed it, and to tell my story as well. It's been really, really good.
I think it'll be so good. I think people will relate to it.
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely. Yeah,
fantastic.
Whatever you want to be in life, just go for it.
Don't
let anybody stop you.
And what a way to finish the podcast. What a way to finish it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and watching. We're obviously live on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So if you did enjoy it, please feel free to drop us a wee review. You can do a star rating, leave us a comment, anything there possible, a subscribe on YouTube. Anything you could do to help this podcast and help, obviously, the visibility of Cheryl's business, Buddie Blooms Florist. Please feel free to obviously help us out. But again, just thanks so much, Cheryl.
No, thank you
so much. We'll see you in the next one, guys.